Be me. 27 years old. Single for the fourth time this year. Sitting in my apartment staring at my phone. Marcus just broke up with me over text. After 4 months of dating. Cannot believe this. The text says, "This is not working. You are amazing, but I need someone who wants to build together. Not someone I have to constantly prove myself to. Wish you the best." Read it 10 times trying to understand. What does he mean by build together? I showed up to every date. I gave him my time. I listened when he talked. What else does a partnership need? Okay, fine. Maybe I told him his apartment was too small for someone his age. He is 31 and still renting a one-bedroom. That is just facts. Not my fault he cannot handle the truth. Maybe I rolled my eyes when he suggested we cook dinner at home instead of going out. But a woman wants to be taken out, wants to feel special. Is that too much to ask? The breaking point was last weekend. Told him over drinks that he should be working harder, climbing the corporate ladder, making moves. He is just a project manager at some tech startup. Decent salary, but no real ambition. He said I made him feel like he was never enough. Said I treated him like an employee I was disappointed in. I said real men do not get offended by a little push. He left the bar. Blocked my number the next day. Whatever. His loss. Open Bumble again. Swipe left on anyone under 6 feet. Immediate pass. Swipe left on guys whose bio says they love dogs and travel. Zero personality. Swipe left on anyone who looks too nice. Probably boring. Dating pool is absolutely tragic right now. Where are all the quality men? Decide I need to get out. Drive to my parents' house. Mom will understand. She always does. Walk in. Mom is making dinner in the kitchen. Dad is in his study doing paperwork. "Hey, sweetie," Mom says. "You sounded upset on the phone." "What happened?" "I am fine," I say. Just men being disappointing again. She gives me a sympathetic look. Starts cutting vegetables. Tell her about Marcus. How he was not stepping up. How he got offended over nothing. How modern men are so sensitive. Cannot handle a strong woman. Mom nods while stirring the pot. Adds some seasoning. Men today do not know how to handle independent women, she says. They want someone who will just go along with everything. Exactly, I say. Marcus wanted me to act grateful for mediocre effort. I have standards. I know my worth. Dad looks up from his desk in the other room. Does not say anything. Just glances at me. Goes back to his work. At dinner, I cannot stop scrolling Bumble. Mom suggests I put it away. I ignore her. These apps are the only way to meet anyone anymore. Swipe left. Too short. Swipe left. Looks broke. Swipe left. Poses with his mom in every photo. Red flag. You know who I saw on Facebook yesterday? I say. Tyler posted photos from some cabin trip. So glad I dodged that disaster. Zero drive. Just wanted to work his basic job forever. Dad puts his fork down. Looks at me for a long second. Picks it back up. Keeps eating. Does not say a word. He was so boring, I continue. Never wanted to travel. Never wanted to try new restaurants. Just wanted to stay in and watch movies. I need someone with vision. Someone who wants more out of life. He had a stable job, Mom says quietly. Senior accountant at that firm downtown. Made good money. Accountant, I scoff. He was never going to be anything more than that. I need someone who is going places. Dad stands up, takes his plate to the sink, walks out to the garage without saying anything. Mom looks at me with this weird expression. Almost sad. Dinner wraps up awkwardly. I feel a little better, at least. Mom gets it. Dad just does not understand modern dating. As I leave, I see him in the garage through the window, organizing tools, shaking his head slowly. Whatever. 5 days later. Scrolling Instagram before bed. See it. Tyler is engaged. The photo is professional. Sunset lighting at some beach. Tyler looks different. More confident. Filled out. He is hugging his fiancée from behind. Both smiling at the camera. She is holding up her hand, showing the ring. Round diamond. Simple band. The caption says, she said, yes. Cannot wait to spend forever with my best friend. Zoom in on her face. She is pretty, I guess. Not like stunning or anything. Just normal, pretty. Girl next door type. Genuine smile. Click to her profile. Public account. Sarah, 24. Elementary school teacher. Bio says, coffee addict book lover Sunday hikes with my dog. Scroll through her photos. Homemade cookies. Her classroom decorations. Golden retriever. Brunch with friends. Nothing impressive. Just basic, normal life. Go back to Tyler's post. 643 likes already. Comments from everyone. So happy for you guys. You two are perfect. Together. Finally, man, congrats. Something twists in my chest. Not jealousy, more like confusion. Tyler gets this. Boring accountant Tyler with his boring routine. He gets the happy ending. While I am getting dumped by Marcus over text. Cannot sleep. Keep refreshing his profile. Staring at that photo. Trying to understand what I am feeling. At 3 in the morning, I scroll back through my Instagram. Find old photos of us. They are archived. I hid them after we broke up. There is one of him at a work event, looking professional in a suit. Another of us at some winery. Both of us laughing. Another at his sister's wedding. His arm around me. Both dressed up. I remember thinking he was safe, reliable. Good for now, but not forever. Not exciting enough. Not ambitious enough. Close Instagram. Stare at my ceiling until morning. Next evening, I show up at my parents' house after work. Dad is in the living room reading the newspaper. I sit in the chair across from him. Pretend to look at my phone. The question is building in my throat. After 15 minutes of silence, I just ask, Dad, why do you think none of my relationships work out? He looks up surprised, folds the newspaper, sets it aside. Long pause. You actually want to know? He asks. Or you want me to tell you what you want to hear? I actually want to know. He leans back in his chair, looks at me seriously. All right, let us start with Marcus. What happened? I give him the summary. Marcus was not ambitious enough. Got defensive when I pushed him to do better. Could not handle feedback. Real men should want to improve. Should want to be better. What did you do to support him? Dad asks. I am thrown off. What do you mean? I was there. I showed up. I gave him my time. What did you give him besides your presence? What did you do when he had a hard day? When he needed someone? I was supportive, I stammer. I listened when he talked. Did you? The question hangs there. I cannot think of specific examples. What about Tyler? Dad asks. My stomach drops. That was 2 years ago. Why bring him up? He was a good man, Dad says. Stable career. Treated you well. Wanted a future with you. Why did it end? I give the practiced answer. We were not compatible. He had no ambition. I needed someone who wanted more from life. Dad's face changes. Gets hard. Tyler came here one afternoon, he says. You were out shopping with your friends. Asked if he could talk to me man to man. My blood runs cold. He asked me if I thought you would say yes if he proposed. Showed me the ring he was looking at. Asked what I thought you would like. If I thought you were ready. I told him to wait. To make sure you were on the same page first. I feel like I cannot breathe. 3 weeks later, you broke up with him. I stammer. I did not know he was thinking that seriously. I was not ready. No, Dad says quietly. You met someone on Bumble who seemed more exciting. Went on dates with him while you were still with Tyler. Then you ended it. I am completely caught. How does he know this? I pay attention, he says. More than you realize. He picks up his newspaper, unfolds it, starts reading again. You asked why your relationships fail, but you are not ready for the real answer. When you are, we can talk. I sit there another moment. Dismissed. Leave without saying goodbye. Driving home, I tell myself he does not understand. Things are different now. Dating has changed. I was young when I was with Tyler. I did not know what I wanted yet. But I cannot stop thinking about that engagement photo. About Sarah with her golden retriever and her classroom. About Tyler asking my dad about proposing. 3 weeks later, I match with Derek. 31, investment banker. Actually tall. 6'2" in his profile. Probably honest about it. Looks good in his photos. Sharp dresser. We text for 5 days before meeting. Actual conversations. Not just, hey, what is up garbage. First date is at a nice coffee shop downtown. He shows up on time. Looks even better in person. Asks real questions about my work. About my interests. No weird silences. He pays without hesitation. Walks me to my car. I would really like to see you again, he says. Second date is dinner at this upscale steakhouse. He made reservations. Holds doors. Orders wine that pairs perfectly with dinner. Over dinner he talks about his career, but also asks about mine. I do not mention I make $38,000 as a marketing coordinator. He pays the full bill without blinking. Third date is at some art gallery opening he has tickets to. Fancy event. Free wine. Interesting people. He introduces me to his friends. Treats me like I matter. We talk about goals, future plans, what we want long term. He mentions wanting marriage eventually. Kids. Building something real. Text my friend Ashley. Finally. Met a real man. Dad was so wrong. By week 4, we are texting constantly. Good morning texts. Check-ins during the day. Real connection. Derek hints at wanting to be exclusive. Fifth date is at an upscale cocktail bar on a Thursday. Mid-conversation, he puts down his drink. Looks at me directly. I really like where this is heading, he says. Want to make sure we are aligned on some things. Me too, I say. I can definitely see this going somewhere serious. He smiles, but stays serious. I need to ask you something, and I need complete honesty. No judgment, just need to know if we are compatible long-term. I nod. Nervous now. What is your relationship history like? How many serious ones have you had? Easy question. 2 serious relationships. Tyler lasted almost 2 years. Ended about 2 years ago. And one in college that lasted a year. He nods slowly. And I know this is personal, but it matters to me. Rough estimate. What is your body count? Time stops. My face gets hot. Does that really matter if we have chemistry? I ask. It matters to me, Derek says gently but firmly. I am 31. Thinking marriage-level commitment. I need to know who I am building with. Not trying to shame you, just need honesty. I am trapped. Cannot lie, but cannot tell the full truth. I do not keep exact count, I say. Somewhere around 12. Maybe 15. I dated around in my 20s, figuring things out. His face changes. Not angry, not disgusted, just closed off. He leans back, picks up his drink, takes a long, slow sip. And how many of those were actual relationships, he asks. The 2 I mentioned. The rest were more casual. Dating around, seeing what was out there. Derek nods slowly, looks away. I can see him thinking, calculating. When he looks back, the warmth is gone from his eyes. I appreciate your honesty. That took courage. That was my past, I try. I am in a completely different place now. Ready for something serious. Ready to settle down. I believe you, he says, cutting me off gently. I just need to process some things. The rest of the date is painful. Awkward. Stiff conversation. He pays, walks me to my car, gives me a quick hug that feels forced. I will call you, he says. He does not. 3 days later, I break. Text him. Hey, had such a great time with you. Would love to see you again. 8 hours later. Hey, you are great. But I do not think we are looking for the same things. Need someone whose values align more with mine for the long term. Hope you understand. Take care. Throw my phone across the room. Everything was perfect. He was perfect. And he is throwing it away over a number. Pace my apartment. Rage texting Ashley. Her response is lukewarm. His loss, babe, but maybe be vague about numbers next time. Even Ashley is not fully backing me up. Grab my keys. 9 at night. Going to my parents' house. Burst through the front door. Dad is on the couch watching some documentary. Mom is in the kitchen wiping down counters. This is bullshit, I say. Practically yelling. I met a quality guy. Everything was perfect. Real chemistry. Talking about the future. And then he asks about my body count and just ghosts. I told him the truth and he cannot handle it. Why are men so fragile? It is 2025. Why am I being punished for living my life? Dad mutes the TV, looks at me calmly. What did you tell him? What? What number did you say? I hesitate. Around 15, maybe 12. I do not keep an exact count because it is not something I should have to track. Dad just sits there, staring at me like I told him someone died. His shoulders slump. Dad, why are you? I need a minute. His voice cracks. He stands up, walks to the kitchen, stands at the window. Back to me. Just stands there staring out at the dark backyard. The silence is unbearable. I can see his hand come up, rubbing his face, covering his mouth. When he turns around, his eyes are red. Not crying, but close. I thought I raised you better than this, he says quietly. I thought your mother and I taught you that you matter, that you are valuable, that you do not just. He cannot finish the sentence. Dad, it is not like that I start. 12 to 15 men got the most intimate part of my daughter. His voice breaks, and not one of them stayed. Not one of them loved you enough. Do you understand what that does to a father? Knowing I failed you that badly. You did not fail me. Then why do you not value yourself? In the kitchen, Mom stops moving, just freezes with the dish towel in her hand. Does not turn around. I value myself, I say defensively. That is normal for someone my age. Most people have similar numbers. 15 men, Dad says, almost to himself. He looks at me like I am a stranger. I thought maybe 3, 4 at most. Why does it matter? My body? My choice. You and Mom raised me to be independent, to not let men control me. Mom puts down the towel, walks out of the kitchen. I hear her footsteps going upstairs. A door closes softly. Dad notices, but does not stop her. You can make whatever choices you want with your body, he says. Nobody is saying you cannot. But you cannot control how people react to those choices. That is the part you refuse to accept. That is sexist. Men sleep around, and nobody. Let me finish. His hand goes up, stops me. Men like Derek do math. He sees that number and thinks, she gave herself to 15 men who did not value her enough to stay, who did not love her enough to commit. Why would I be different? What makes me special? That is not fair. You are right. There is a double standard. Life is not fair. But you knew that. You made your choices anyway. Now you are mad about the consequences. He leans forward. You had Tyler. Good man. Loved you. Wanted to build a life with you. What was his body count? I am thrown. I do not know. We never talked about. I would bet it was under 4, he says. Maybe 3. He was the type of man women fight for. Loyal, faithful, stable. And you had him. You were the one he chose. He pauses. And you threw him away to explore. Well, you explored. And this is what you found. Tears are starting, but I am still trying to fight. His fiancée is 24. Dad continues. Elementary school teacher. Sweet girl. I looked her up on Facebook after you mentioned the engagement. I would bet she has been with 2 men, maybe 3, her whole life. That is what men like Tyler and Derek choose when they settle down. She is basic. I almost scream. She is boring. She probably has no. Do not you dare, Dad says. His voice is hard now. That girl did nothing to you. She just made different choices, valued herself differently. And now she is getting married while you are getting ghosted. The words hit like a slap. You are 27 years old, he says. Softer now, but still firm. You spent your 20s giving yourself to men who saw you as temporary, as entertainment. Now you finally meet a man who is serious, who has his life together, who wants marriage, and he sees the same pattern. That is not fair. I sob. I have changed. I am ready now. Maybe you are. But your past does not disappear because you decided you are ready. And quality men can see patterns. They protect themselves. Dad looks at me with something that might be pity. I love you. I will always love you. You are my daughter. Nothing changes that. Long pause. But I cannot lie to you anymore. This is fixable, but only if you actually change. Not your words, your actions, your standards for yourself, not just for men. Another pause. He looks exhausted. And honestly, I do not think you will. I think you will blame Derek, blame men, blame society, and keep doing the same things, wondering why you get the same results. I have no words, just tears. Dad unmutes the documentary. I sit there for another minute, then leave. Mom is still upstairs, door still closed. The next morning, I meet coffee with my friend Josh. Known him since college. Brutally honest guy. Sometimes annoyingly so. I vent everything. Derek. Dad's reaction. Mom not talking to me. They are not wrong, Josh says when I finish. You too. Body count does matter. Not to every guy, but to the ones you actually want. The guys who do not care are usually the ones adding to your count. I try the feminism argument. It is my choice. He cuts through it. It is your choice. And it is Derek's choice not to commit to you because of it. That is how choices work. Then he asks the question that breaks me. If a guy told you he had been with 40 women, would you take him seriously? I open my mouth to say yes. Cannot. The silence stretches. Exactly, Josh says. You would think he is a player, that you would just be another number. That is how Derek feels. I stare at my untouched coffee. You knew this would matter eventually, Josh says. Not unkindly. You just thought you would figure it out later. The guys who do not care are the Marcus types. The guys who do care are the Dereks. And they are walking away. That night I am in bed scrolling through old photos. Find ones of Tyler and me. Him at that work event. Us at the winery. That wedding photo. I remember how he treated me, how he looked at me. Then I think about Derek ghosting, about Marcus breaking up over text. Check Instagram. An ad pops up in my feed. Female Dating Strategy Academy. Learn how to attract and keep high-value men. Join 8,000 women leveling up. I click it. $247 for the course. Testimonials from women who figured it out. who finally got their ring. Pull out my credit card. Dad and Josh do not get it. There is a strategy to this. I just need to learn the game better. These women cracked the code. I can too. Confirmation email arrives. Welcome, Queen. Module 1. Why your energy is blocking your blessings. Open Bumble. Update my bio. High-value woman seeking high-value man. Know your worth, kings only. Start swiping. Left on a normal-looking guy whose prompt says he likes reading and cooking. Too boring. Right on a shirtless gym pic. 6'3". If it matters. Message first. Hey, handsome. I am a high-value woman now.